Welcome to the Prophecy Club. For the last several programs, we have been talking about how folks around the globe are tracking and monitoring you, and how that all is, unfortunately, have a very dark and sinister purpose behind it, because one of these days they're going to ask you to take the mark of the beast. And if they can't find you, that could be a problem. So I think that there is, and that's not saying that everybody is trying to do this, but I think that there are some people that do know exactly what they're doing, and we're going to continue talking about how we're tracked and monitored, because one day they want to round us up. Say you're going to take that mark. Headline: Monitoring People from Space, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And this is published April the 3rd, and I've kind of whittled on this to just get to the main points. Biometrics is identification of humans by physical characteristics or traits. For example, biometrics with fingerprints, everything from voice recognition to DNA, keystroke, handprint behavior, retina scanning devices are already commonplace in certain areas. As biometrics advances, we can be observed from a distance. Now, I hope you heard that, because that's what we're talking about today. Observed from a distance, both by drones and satellites, an infrared signature of a human body to be person-specific. Infrared radiation is made up of photons with wavelengths that vary from a little less than 1 micron to about 1 millimeter. Since everything from animals to trees to cars, highways, all emit photons, the first challenge will be to separate human heat signatures from everything else. Current technology still doesn't allow recognition of individual infrared heat signatures. That's good news. Tying infrared sensors to other biometric monitors is something that will happen sooner or later. Here's a list of how this type of technology will evolve over time. For example, distinguishing between plants, animals, and humans, determining gender, defining age, ethnicity, height, weight, hair color, and other physical characteristics, doing basic health assessments, monitoring heart rates, blood pressure, skin temperature, scanning for levels of brain activity, remote indexing of stomach content. Did you hear that? Analyzing the chemical composition of a person's sweat. Now imagine these monitoring capabilities from as far away as 100 feet. But what if it's even further away? Let's say a mile away. But what if it eventually can be done from satellites orbiting the Earth? Now think about that. Where do you hide from a satellite? Hang on, there's more. Next headline: Bill Gates backs plan to surveil the entire planet from space. In other words, no, this is not a joke. Dated 4/20 of 2018. Earth Now is a new company looking to provide satellite imagery and live video in virtually real time, using a network of satellites that can see any corner of the globe and provide live video. The startup's top investors are powerhouses. In other words, if this is little Johnny-come-latelys or folks that don't have any money, you can ignore that. Only listen to the list of who's behind this. Airbus, SoftBank Group, Bill Gates, satellite industry vet Greg Weiler. In other words, this is serious, and they're apparently going to do it. It says the funding focuses primarily on maturing the overall system. Unique real-time Earth observation services. Weiler's OneWeb has already developed highly advanced satellites with a blazing fast 130 millisecond latency. In other words, really fast. And its goal is to have a constellation of hundreds of satellites beaming broadband around the globe, listen to this, by 2020. Earth Now will use an upgraded version of OneWeb's technology with a lot of hardware power packed into a 500-pound unit. Each satellite is equipped with an unprecedented amount of onboard processing power, including more CPU cores than all other commercial satellites combined. Do you hear that? All other commercial satellites combined. Bill Gates backs this plan to surveil the entire planet from space. Did you hear that? The satellites will do an onboard analysis of the live imagery using machine learning, but the company doesn't go into detail about what it will analyze. Did you hear that? About what it will analyze, or why it would be necessary to dedicate that kind of processing power on board each satellite. The estimated total cost of the final system is around $1 billion. So why would someone spend $1 billion to look down on the planet? Well, they just enjoy looking at trees. No. There's a real sinister purpose for this. We prophecy students know and understand. Let's go on, though. The company's goal is to make money selling its services to government and enterprise clients, and that's kind of terrifying. What Earth Now is promising is jaw-dropping. It could be used for, and listen to this, catching illegal fishers in the act. Yes, yeah. Oh, please. Somebody wants to spend $1 billion to catch people fishing illegally? Really? Let's go on, though. Watching hurricanes, typhoons as they evolve, detecting forest fires the moment they start, watching volcanoes the instant they start to erupt, assisting the media in telling stories from around the world, tracking large whales as they migrate, helping smart cities become more efficient, providing on-demand data with crop health, and observing conflict zones around the world. And if you believe that, we have some shoreline property for sale in Kansas. Because if you buy that, you'll buy anything. No, brothers and sisters, what they want to do is find you. I'm talking about you Christians, you resistors, you people that don't want to go along with this new God man that they're calling. Well, they're not going to call him the Antichrist, but they're going to call him God. Okay? You don't want to go along with that. They want to find you. Let's go on. Google Earth is one of my most beloved time wasters on the web, this guy says. So I have to admit that despite the fact that this thing creeps me out, I want to be able to play around with it. Only the rich and powerful are likely to get their hands on the controls, but Earth Now does say that it plans to release, quote, live Earth video mass market applications that can be accessed instantly from a smartphone or a tablet, so that we can all become virtual astronauts. Oh, come on. Do they really think we're that stupid? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. They think that they're going to spend $1 billion to be able to catch illegal fishermen. Come on. All right, let's go on. Now, let's tie this back to Bible prophecy. Now, you have to understand, my wife, Prophet Leslie, is not your normal prophet. She's like an Old Testament prophet. She doesn't prophesy too often. She's very cautious and careful about what she says. And as her husband, I've seen her give over 5,000 prophecies, and I can't tell you one she's missed. I can't tell you of any dream or vision or times the angel has come and spoken to her. I can't tell you of a time she's missed. Now, with that in mind, let's go to December 7th, 2005. She had a dream, and this was coming because we were having a fella coming in, and he was talking, making a DVD, talking about how the earth could switch poles. Well, Isaiah 24 verses 1 and 19 says that the earth will turn upside down and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. So prophecy says the earth will turn upside down. So this guy's coming in, and God gives her a dream. Here's the dream. She says, we were walking downtown. It was the blackest black of night I've ever seen. Something was causing supernatural darkness, darker than the darkest night. Now, hold on just a second. You remember back in Egypt, that's the way it was. 3 days of darkness. It was so dark they couldn't even get out of bed. And they said it was a darkness you could feel. Now back to the dream. There was no moonlight. The stars looked strange. They appeared clustered together. They appeared like bubbles in a bubble bath, in that they were all like kind of had a halo or bubble around each star, like a soap bubble has a rainbow look to it. The stars were clustered together, each with a halo, and appeared much closer to the earth than they do now. What appeared to be the clusters of stars may have been debris, as if some kind of bomb or something had exploded in space. If a meteor were exploded in outer space, or a cluster of meteors, or maybe a nuclear explosion in the satellite belt around the Earth, I'm thinking it might cause debris to appear this way. One way intercontinental nuclear missiles are destroyed is by a nuclear blast within 10 miles of the missile. I had a very strange feeling in the spirit. I was impressed to go into a tall building, and I said, "Stan, we have to go in. We have to go to the top of this building now." Our children were with us, and others began to follow. As we passed by people, Stan would yell at them, "Follow us. We have to get to the top." We were walking up a ramp. As we were walking up the ramp, you drive a car like you're driving in a parking garage. I realized that this whole thing was turned upside down. This was the way the Lord was trying to tell me that the earth had turned upside down. In the dream, I could see through walls and see out the top of the building and down below as if it was transparent. Water was rising all around the building. It was not coming like a stream, as if maybe a dam had broken, but rather coming up from everywhere, just out of the ground. It wasn't raining. Water was coming up out of the ground from everywhere, rising higher and higher. Stan and I were yelling to the people, "Come quickly, come quickly. Get to the top of the building or you will die." We passed by a teacher that had stopped to have a cigarette, who had a group of small children with her. And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Well, I'm taking a break." I said, "Don't stop. You have to keep moving." We could see the water continuing to rise. The teacher stayed behind, but many of the children with her began to follow us. I looked at the sky again. Next to one of the clusters of debris stars was an extremely large object. Oh, listen to this part. An extremely large object moving slowly across the sky. I asked Stan, "Is this a UFO?" He said, "No, this is one of their satellites that they have hidden from us, and it's used to track the people on Earth." It was wobbling in the midst of the debris. I saw 2 more of these same satellites. One of the children following us up the ramp asks, "Where's the water coming from?" I said, "I don't know. It's just coming up from the ground everywhere." You see, I knew that the earth had turned upside down, and the water was just simply coming out of the ground everywhere. It was no stopping it. We'll be right back after this message. I memorized the book of Revelation, and in the process, God gave me 12 awesome revelations. My biggest revelation, what is the morning star? Who are the 2 witnesses? The final answer to the rapture question. Definitive proof that America is in Revelation. 7 signs to spot the Antichrist early. The surprising final plague on earth. And kings and priests. What's the 3rd woe? Who are the nations? Are all the saints kings and priests, or some kings, some priests? Both DVDs gift of $40 at prophecyclub.com. Over 150 conferences and 50 debates defending the King James Version gives Adam Johnson the right to tell us what is the best Bible version in his new triple DVD set called King James or 400 Counterfeits, available at prophecyclub.com. Gift of $45, prophecyclub.com. And now, back to the program. What about the people that live where the water is frozen? Are they being bothered by this? I said, yes. The only difference is their ice is rising out of the ground everywhere. In other places, super cold water is rising. As it reaches them, they freeze immediately. We made it to the top of the building, and others were still arriving. The water appeared to recede. Some of the people got too excited and began to run back down the ramp, yelling, "Don't go down, don't go down, it's not over. You have to stay up here to be safe." Our son Bentley found an old Cadillac on top of the building and managed to get it started. He said, "Dad, let's go get some more people." They went down and picked up as many as they could carry. I could sense all kind of emotions in this dream. I felt excitement, but fear. There was anxiousness and a wondering about what was going on. Everything seemed very chaotic. I understand she had this dream in 2005. This is before Bill Gates come up with his idea to spend $1 billion on satellites to catch illegal fishermen. Please, you do know that it's not for illegal fishermen. It's for resisting Christians. Next headline. Autonomous military drones that decide who to kill will cause warfare to move from fighting to extermination. This comes to us from dailymail.co.uk. It says drones now have the ability to select targets independently using AI, or artificial intelligence. This would take the final ethical decision away from being humans. This could result in people losing their humanity. Now let's go to the article. It says, with developing AI and autonomous technology, it is now possible to build killing machines that require no human input. Taking the final decision away from a human raises serious ethical problems over the use of fully autonomous weapons. It could mean wars will be less about fighting and more about extermination. The U.S. Army recently announced that it is developing the first drones that can spot and target vehicles and people using artificial intelligence. Existing lethal military drones like the MQ-9 Reaper are carefully controlled and piloted, listen to this, via satellite. Planet hunting test spacecraft that will map 85% of the sky. As one Reaper operator states, I'm very much of the mindset that I would allow an insurgent, however important a target, to get away rather than to take a risky shot that might kill civilians. But the MQ-9 Reaper uses some of the most advanced AI, or artificial intelligence, in the world. This unmanned craft is controlled remotely by humans who make the final decision on whether to engage a hostile target or not. But future machines may be able to make this decision independent of humans. In other words, we're talking about a Terminator satellite or a Terminator drone in the sky. You know, a lot of this is sounding like some of the movies, isn't it? It goes on to say the Pentagon is trying to develop algorithms that would sort through the material and alert analysts to important finds, according to the Air Force. A British Royal Air Force Reaper hunter-killer unmanned aerial vehicle on the flight line February 21st of 2014 in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Military bosses say intelligence analysts are overwhelmed by the amount of video being recorded over the battlefield by drones with high-resolution cameras. For example, if Google's Project Maven, M-A-V-E-N, image recognition AI software is incorporated into an American military autonomous drone, Google could find itself implicated in the drones killing business. Are you hearing this? We're talking about AI drones killing people. Let's go on. The whole point of the self-learning algorithms are programs that independently learn from whatever data they can collect. That technology uses is that they become better at whatever task they're given. Uber and Tesla's fatal experiments with self-driving cars suggest it is pretty much guaranteed that there will be unintended autonomous drone deaths or accidents as computer bugs are ironed out. Oh, it's just to find illegal fishermen. Brothers and sisters, there's nothing wrong with this. They're not coming after you to get you to take the mark of the beast. Oh, of course not. That's silliness. That's crazy. Well, that's what the Bible says. Headline. Is it time to worry about cloning humans again? Friday, April 20th, 2018. This comes to us from MIT Technology Review. It says, when Barbara Streisand revealed to Variety magazine that she'd had her dog cloned for $50,000, many people learned for the first time that copying pets and other animals is real business. That's right. You can pay to clone your dog, horse, or maybe a top breed bull and get a living copy back in just a matter of months. A Michigan paid to clone a Labrador retriever. What happens when a parent tries to replace a son or daughter? who dies prematurely. Is it now time to worry once again about human cloning? We're going to tie this together here in just a second. The basic cloning procedure, like that used to create Dolly the sheep in 1996, scientists take an entire adult cell and inject it into an egg that's been relieved of its own DNA. The resulting embryo is a clone. Only 1 in 100 clones embryos ever continues to a live birth. Some embryos expire in the IVF dish. Others wither in the womb. Of those that are born, a few suffer from abnormalities and quickly die. What might happen if humans are cloned with today's techniques? Failed clones are just the cost of doing business, they say. The cause of the problems is better understood today, though. For a skin cell to be a skin cell, it doesn't need a full complement of genes. So many are simply shut off. The reason cloning works at all is that an egg has a remarkable ability to turn genes back on through a process called reprogramming. Yet the egg has only hours to do the job, and some genes are resistant. Is it these resistant genes, still blocked and unavailable to play their role in the developing embryo, or are believed to be responsible for the demise of clones? Now, what are they essentially saying? There are people that are working hot and heavy to try to create a clone. Revelation 13:15 says, and this is speaking of the false prophet, and he had power to give life to the image of the beast. And as I've said in a program just the other day, I think that that's referring to a clone, as in a half human, half something else. Image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause, that means it issues orders. As many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, his number is 666. So if you back up and you summarize what we're talking about in this particular program, we're talking about they are planning to track and monitor people from space. I didn't bring you one. I brought you 2 articles backed up with a dream. Then another one says that they're planning on, it didn't say directly, but you know what's going to happen. They're going to put military drones using artificial intelligence that can track you down, round you up, take you someplace where they're going to say, you see that guy right there? That's God. And you're going to fall down right now and you're going to worship that God. Or, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, instead of being tossed into a fiery furnace, they're going to say, we're going to lop your head off. And it's probably going to be a human clone that is the image of the beast that is commanding everybody to do it. Now, for those people that want to say, oh, this has not happened in my lifetime, folks, I just read you articles that have all come out in the last week. I didn't write the articles. I didn't cook it up. All as I said was this relates to Bible prophecy. I'm saying, if you're thinking this is not going to happen in your lifetime, you're probably wrong. If you're thinking you don't have to worry about all this Bible prophecy stuff, you're probably wrong. If you're thinking, well, this is going to happen someday, but it's over the horizon, I'll never see it in my lifetime, you're probably wrong. I believe that Daniel is a book that was given to us for this generation. And the point of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego not kneeling down before the king's golden image is to tell us what we need to be saying. Be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor will we fall down and worship the golden image which you have set up. That's God really telling this generation, yes, you're going to have the opportunity to deny Jesus. Let me read to you from The Beast Strikes. This was January 21, 1995. This was an angel visit given to Dmitri. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's about 4 paragraphs long. I don't have that much time. But I have read it many times. It's talking about airplanes that would go up and try to attack the airplanes that are attacking America and dropping bombs. They would fall back to the earth in a blaze of fire. But let me get down to the fourth paragraph. This relates to what we're talking about today. A majority of my people will be overtaken and trampled because their lives are not clean before their Lord. Tell this message to them. Do not be quiet. If you're quiet, I will punish you, because the churches are fraudulent, counterfeit, and fake. They live a life as their hearts desire, with their hands stained in blood and adultery, sodomy, worshiping strange and foreign gods. Because they have forsaken the true God, He has allowed them to go the way of their heart's desire. Now tell them, cry out loud. Tell them to stop treading the path of their heart's desire, to repent with all their hearts. So, now listen, here it comes. So that in the day of the beast's anger, I may be able to save them, so they would not deny me. Say it again. So they will not deny me. Meaning, in your lifetime, you are probably going to have the opportunity to deny Jesus. And the only way you're going to escape that is to stop sinning now. Turn to Jesus with your whole heart. Make Him the Lord of your life. You don't do it now, your life is not clean now, then God is not going to protect you, and you probably will, rather than lose your head. I mean, now think about it, that's a pretty tough thing. Probably you will bend the knee, take the mark. And you remember that the worst punishment on earth is taking the mark of the beast, because they have no rest day or night that worship the beast or his image or receiveth the mark of his name. They have, in other words, they are not cast into the lake of fire as in a soul death. These folks join the beast, the false prophet, and Satan in the lake of fire, and they are tormented forever and ever and ever and ever. So says Revelation. Maybe I'll cover all the verses on that someday too. But my point is, brothers and sisters, we don't have time to mess around. We got to get to Jesus. We got to get to Jesus real quick, real fast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for those gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. Dr. Bree Keaton just made a brand new DVD, and I love it. It's called Is Trump or Patrick Henry? Now, it's not a political talk. Bree's mother was a descendant of the patriot Patrick Henry. She reveals shocking, never-released private family records, bloodlines, and gives you the true story of how God used Patrick Henry to save America. Dr. Bree holds 2 doctorates, prayer walked 50 countries spanning 6 continents, but what she does in this talk is lift your spirits, encourages you. To me, I think she helped me to see more clearly where we are and where we're going, because most of history has already repeated itself. And those that don't know their history are doomed to repeat. I promise you will like this DVD. Is Trump by Patrick Henry? Gift of $30, prophecyclub.com. Matter of fact, I think they got a gift offer going on it now. Is Trump by Patrick Henry? prophecyclub.com. The Watchman's Trumpet will allow you to gift free coupons to friends to watch Prophecy Club DVDs online. They get saved, and it counts toward your book of works because it was done in cooperation with the Prophecy Club. When you donate for Watchman's Trumpet, end your gift in a 7, and we'll give you 20% extra viewing credits for helping create the program. The cost to write the program ranges from $70,000 to $150,000 from 2 to 6 months to write. Once Watchman's Trumpet is online, you can set up your account for $1 and get 4 credits, or you may choose a larger block of credits. You can immediately begin to watch any Prophecy Club DVD or send out free gift coupons to others. Send your best gift to prophecyclub.com now to help us write the program. Make the last digit of your donation a 7, and we'll give you 20% extra viewing credits in the new Watchman's Trumpet program when it comes online at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com, Watchman's Trumpet.